Alright, now that your eardrums are successfully destroyed, here we are back, and we had a little bit of a reset because someone left the game really quickly, but hey, we're getting in. So, kaoticz, did you watch any WCS today?
No, not today.
Ooh, I watched the whole thing, sort of. I was in and out most of the time because I was gaming on another game, but that first match MVP and what was his name? Firecake, 50-minute ZVT.
Oh
Ridiculous, ridiculous, I say. But the game is about to start. We are on dataless point, and as soon as players finish loading, we'll be good to go. There we go. Alright, in the top left-hand corner of dataless point, we have from Ignotiq Gaming, the green Terran, kaoticz. And in the bottom right-hand corner, representing the purple Protoss, we have Renegades of Hell's pzychO. kaoticz, have you ever casted either of these two teams before?
I think I've casted Ignotiq before. I'm not 100% sure, but have casted this matchup on this map quite a bit. So,
what do you think that will happen right off the bat? Do you think we're going to see a little bit of Reaper harass? It's the standard opening for Terran. A couple fast spans.
I would say Terran in pretty much every matchup, it's pretty standard to go for that Reaper opening, just because it's, you get enough scouting information early game. You don't really have any issues defending anything too terribly early, and it's just in general very nice to be able to kind of harass your opponent while getting all this scouting information that you could possibly ever want. So probably going to see that type of opening.
Yeah, Reaper's ability to scout and heal themselves just makes them way too useful early game. It's almost silly just not to go for it. It's the amount of information you get is just way too useful. But I did cast Ignotiq Gaming last week, and I believe they were facing Imperative Gaming. Don't quote me on that, it was a long time ago. But well, either Ignotiq Gaming or Imperative Gaming came out with these really weird and wonky builds, like going mech against Protoss. That might have been Imperative Gaming though, so we will see.
It would be interesting to see mech on this map. I was playing a ZVT on this map, and I was up against a meching Terran, and it was kind of an interesting little play, but I'd say mech is fairly viable on this map. We'll have to see whether or not that actually is what's going to play out here.
The map's middle is actually really wide open, easy to get a good flank. And playing as a defensive Terran, it might be a little hard to set up mech beyond two bases, and mech really needs that third base to go, but I don't really think we're going to see mech. The second gas isn't being taken so quickly.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that I do want to notice is kaoticz did actually go ahead and scout with the SCV, which I find kind of odd. Usually when you're going for a Reaper expand type build, you really don't need that scout, so I'm just kind of curious as to why he went ahead and sent that out. Every little small advantage that you can get.
kaoticz is probably looking for a second gas in case it's a one base all in. You never know when there's going to be a random proxy robotics facility and Immortals coming out right next to your base. But seeing that natural, it's going to make kaoticz feel a little bit safer expanding as well.
Yeah, I think overall, with the Mothership core out, I think the Reaper's going to more or less get denied. No probes are going to get poked at, and kaoticz is just kind of pleasantly scouting with the SCV, still in the neck, in the mineral line.
Having just a good old time until, the SCV is like, I want to wave the Mothership core, try to make friends, but it just didn't happen. So, I guess I was wrong, no mech. We're going to see a bioplay coming out from kaoticz here.
So what are your thoughts on the three barracks follow-up rather than going straight into a factory?
It is a extremely powerful timing, especially if you hit right when stem's finished. Protoss might have a few force fields, but that ramp to your natural is really big. Not as big as a 1.0 of dataless point, but it's still up there. That is I want to say 3.5, maybe 4 force field ramp, and that's a lot of sentry energy to dedicate to trying to stop it. So with the photon overcharge for the Nexus, easily held off, but the DPS of Bioball is just so great, it can just snipe that Nexus easily.
Yeah, so it does look like he's just going to continue on building units, and Stim is now going to be purchased on the way, so he could potentially be looking to do a timing like that. Granted, we do have the first forge coming out from pzychO, as well as his robotics facility producing out that observer to actually hopefully get a decent enough scout off.
Early upgrade's very important in PvT matchup. You want your Zealots to be able to take all those shots from these Marines, and it's just been nothing but Marines pumping out here. No, not even any Marauders, just help kill any like heavy Stalker play or any kind of Blink play early.
Yeah, now we do have a second tech lab being built off that other barracks, so it does look like he is going to transition into probably getting a handful of Marauders. But we'll have to see when kaoticz chooses to move out, because I'd say he's probably going to start to push out probably in about the next 30 seconds-ish.
Well, pzychO is gassing up his natural. It's a little bit later than I'd actually wanted. I'd wanted to throw it down about 6:30. He threw it down at about 7. We do have a robotics facility down. We could see there's a robotic, or there's actually a Twilight Council. I thought it'd be a robotics bay, but it looks like he's going for charge and maybe storm, just to fend off. And that's not that bad of a choice.
Yeah, it'll really depend on, you know, how big this bio ball that comes across the field is. You know, right now it's looking pretty scary. Looking at the units tab, he's got 18 Marines and just 2 Marauders out. That's you know, fairly decent army to deal with what pzychO's got out on the field, and whether or not he's going to muster up some more forces before that attack actually does engage.
Well, the Mothership Core is about at full energy, so there would be more than enough defense. There's only 3 Stalkers and 1 Sentry and 1 Zealot, but with the upgrades coming out, Charge is started, +1 armor is almost done, and 4 gateways are being built right now for pzychO. Looks like he's anticipating this little engagement as they move out underneath that observer.
Yeah, I was going to say, pzychO's definitely got some really nice observer placements, got really good vision of his opponent moving out. He's going to have pretty clear vision of when that attack is going to be hitting his front door, so...
A little bit of the line of observers there. He sees exactly where kaoticz forces are, and the preemptive photon overcharge. Ooh.
Yep, so he's going to stem in here, try and get as much damage done as possible. Trying to focus down the Mothership Core, not really getting a whole lot done, losing a handful of Marines in the process. I'd say overall, not too bad. You know, forcing that preemptive photon overcharge to minimize the amount of the effectiveness of it. But granted, he is giving pzychO a little bit of extra time to get out some more units as the first Immortal is popping out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Zealots morphed in here very shortly.
Yeah, kaoticz dedicating the whole stem to try and take out that Mothership Core, but the force fields were just too good, making it like just a little like single file line for Marines to walk through as they got shot down by the photon overcharge and tickled to death by sentries.
Yeah. So now pzychO does know that more units are streaming across the field as his observers are pretty well placed. He's got a pretty good vision of where his opponent's army is, and I'd say he's kind of almost in a position to maybe potentially push out and try to get some damage done. So pretty nicely placed force fields would make that engagement go very well in his favor.
Both charge and concussive shells from Marauders have been finished as well, and Sonic Storm is on the way and it's being chrono boosted out. There are Templars out here, and one good storm could take out a good chunk of these Marines when it ever gets done, but +2 armor is on the way as well. These Zealots are going to be really beefy, and there are a lot of them. There's a whole 9 of them.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that that kaoticz really isn't going for any type of economic play behind this. He doesn't have a third base kind of anywhere in mind, and it's just looking to push it out with just the 2 base timing. Well, not really a timing at this point.
Yeah, this really heavy delay waiting for those medevacs to come out. At least I believe so. And getting,
well, we got ghosts on the way.
Yeah, getting a couple ghosts, probably anticipating the Templar archives, which he does not see it. It looks like it's just entirely being assumed. But the storms are ready, and well, looks like kaoticz might just try and back off a little bit, but forces are still streaming along.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that we haven't seen
Warp Prism.
Yeah, I saw the War Prism earlier. I was going to make comment about that. But I'm really surprised that we haven't seen any scan come out of kaoticz. You know, he really doesn't have any idea what his opponent's army is doing. We do have that War Prism going into the main, so...
Oh, that War Prism only has 4 Zealots in it. There's no High Templars to storm, but this is going to be really annoying considering all of kaoticz forces are on the other side of the map, creating a small contain. Ooh, there's a lot of SCVs falling.
Yeah, I mean, the SCVs are going to get pulled down to the natural, but there's really no defenses here. I mean, a nice big warp in could actually do a significant amount of damage to the units that are here, as well as the production. It does look like pzychO's going to go ahead and move out, and the majority of kaoticz army was completely decimated by storms. That was a very nice engagement.
Oh, kaoticz getting distracted by the drops in his base. Even I was getting distracted by the drops in his base. Storm's completely ripping the army apart, and pzychO just kind of powered through everything. There was just the Ghost Warren over there, and, well, having your army out of position and not looking at them, they're going to get stormed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is more or less over with only 4 Marines and 4 Marauders. Just like GG.
And pzychO's Renegades of Hell's pzychO